Welcome back to the channel, Triple Side Thoughts. Let's just get right into this. It's been way too long. My favorite movies of 2023 and must-see movies. Let's go in no particular order. Avatar, Way of Water. Now, James Cameron caught lightning in a bottle with the first Avatar. And, I mean, obviously, tremendous success. They waited way too long to start making the sequels. I think it's something up to 4 more sequels coming out. So this is the first of 4. And, I mean, he did it again. James Cameron just doesn't miss. I was pleasantly surprised. And I was worried going in, but I'm like, it's James Cameron. How can he fail? But, I mean, it's been so long. And this movie had tremendous success in 2023, and it was just done really, really well. So moving on to the next movie, and again, in no particular order, Air. So Air is a movie about Nike, and before Nike was known as Nike, and how they ended up getting Michael Jordan and creating the Jordan shoe. And it is acted just tremendously in this movie. Ben Affleck does a tremendous job of Phil Knight. It is just a must-see movie. There's some comedy in there. There's some intrigue into like what's gonna happen next. It's just done really well. The next movie I want to talk about that is a must-see movie. Action-packed, gritty. Has some comedy in it as well, and that is the movie known as, well, as they say in the movie, we have a word for that in Finland. It's This movie is just jam-packed with action. It's one of those like, this guy will not die, and through immense odds of it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, he finds gold and he has hundreds of miles to go to get to a bank, and he just runs into Nazis and goes on a killing spree to make sure he can keep that gold. And it's quite a journey that he has to go through, and this is a must-see movie. Great action, good comedy. Let's move on to the next one. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now this is another movie where I'm like, they killed the first one, extremely successful. I'm just hoping they don't drop the ball with this, and of course they didn't. It exceeded my expectations for sure, and I had really high expectations for this one, of course. They just killed the story. It kept you engaged the whole time, and I just really, really enjoyed this. Moving on to Mission Impossible Dead a Reckoning Part 1. I love all of the Mission Impossible movies. Tom Cruise was doing his own stunts, and there's a couple stunts in here that are just breathtaking to watch, especially if you see it in IMAX or Dolby Atmos. Obviously you can't see that in that format in the movie theater, but if you had a chance to see it, comment down below what format you were able to watch it in. But phenomenal job. Great action, a little bit of comedy in this one as well. You just can't go wrong with Tom Cruise doing his own stunts, and Mission Impossible movies are just always great and phenomenal. Moving on to the next one. I want to keep this video short for you guys as much as possible. Sound of Freedom. Now this movie by Angel Studios, intense, just phenomenal story. So I knew the backstory of this, about child trafficking, and this guy that was working on a case. He was told that he couldn't continue the case, so he quit his job, spoke it over with his wife, prayed about it, and wanted to go after these vicious people that were, sex trafficking children. Horrific things going on. And he wanted to put up a trap to save the children and also get these guys arrested. And just a phenomenal story. Of course, they embellished the story a little bit, especially the last 30 minutes, to make it more Hollywood-esque and more action-packed. from what actually happened in the true story. But for the most part, they stick pretty true to the story. The only thing I wish they added in the story, which I kind of found out afterwards, was actually what happened between him and his wife, the main character, talking about what to do because he was the only one working, and they had kids, and trying to figure out if this is something he wanted to quit his job to go help to save these children. They prayed about it, and his wife was like, God put this on your heart to do this. Who are you to block that blessing for those kids to get saved when you know you can do this? I kind of wish they had put that in the movie, but that wasn't in the movie. But regardless, phenomenal movie, must-see movie if you haven't seen it. Next, Gran Turismo. This movie was a pleasant surprise. Technically, this is a video game adaptation movie, but also a true story. So the premise is this PlayStation game that came out was so realistic in the making of it that people would consider this game a simulator of racing and not just a video game, and they took it seriously with having a steering wheel and pedals set up with the chair and playing the video game as if they're really racing. Ended up putting out a promotion in collaboration with Nissan, find out the best drivers in this video game to actually have a chance to drive real racing cars in a real race. Just a phenomenal story, true story, which is so wild. Just a phenomenal story of triumph and going through adversity, and just to me, like, I'd even consider this a sports movie, and going through adversity and overcoming are some of my favorite type of movies. So moving on to the next one, The Equalizer 3. I really enjoyed the first Equalizer, and that came out as like a trailer, and I was just like, this looks pretty good, let's check it out, and I was blown away. Phenomenal action. And then the second one came out. Most people didn't really like it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Obviously a step down from the original, the first one. This one can't keep doing the same thing over and over without changing some things. Basically, the second movie did the same thing as the first, and that's why, people, I feel like, didn't really like it as much and kind of disengaged because there wasn't anything really new. They do something in this movie with the character that made this movie a whole different type of movie. Really gave this character, who was just such a badass, gave him a real adversity where he was not able to do what he does best. He had to just sit back and watch horrific things happen. When he gets back to strength and overcomes the adversity, man, vengeance is just that much sweeter. Moving on to the next movie. Oh man, I really enjoyed this movie. The Creator. Now, The Creator goes into the whole idea of AI and robotics, them becoming human-esque, human-like. This movie just does such a great job, and it really makes you think about the state of AI and just how fast things change just within 1 year. And imagine what will happen in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. It's just insane. And what I really took away from this movie is how easily humans can be manipulated by AI. Humans are very emotional beings. It really pushes on that emotional button. You're not really sure if these emotional buttons that are being pushed are for the interest of the AI and the machines, or the humans and the machines that are working together, or the humans that are against and want to destroy and kill all of the AI machines. You're kind of just torn back and forth and trying to figure out where you stand in this, and I just thought that part of this movie just did it so well. The Creator is a must-see movie. Moving on to the next one, Dumb Money. It's a story of Roaring Kitty, meme stocks, GameStop, AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, craze of the billionaire hedge funds that tried to short these stocks, and getting over on those guys, having them lose billions of dollars by keep buying and holding those stocks. I believe it's back in 2021. How appropriate, because just a few days ago, after 3 years of not a single tweet, Roaring Kitty just started tweeting again. GameStop shot up 110%. The market is reacting, so this guy earned tremendous trust whenever he, would tell people to hold or tell people to buy these stocks, and people listen and hearing that trust. This movie goes through the story of of what actually happened and what situation they were in before he started gaining a tremendous following and people trusting him, and just from all story of like other people, from like college students to people working retail jobs that became multimillionaires because of this whole phenomenon that happened with Diamond Hands. And moving on, the next movie is Silent Night. This movie was insane. So the premise is a father loses his young son, maybe about 4 or 5 years old, and also loses his ability to speak due to gang-affiliated violence. They were not the intended target. However, they got hit by a stray bullet. He just eventually goes through a deep depression and then eventually snaps and just starts training to be able to take out the gang members that did this to him and his family. And it is a story of pure vengeance. I mean, it is by the creators of John Wick, so very John Wick-esque in that fashion of being motivated by a horrific incident to get revenge. And boy, does he ever get it. This is a must-see movie if you enjoyed John Wick at all. Next up, The Boys in the Boat. So I saw the trailer and I was immediately interested. It's a sports movie about some underdogs that overcome tremendous odds. Those are some of my favorite type of movies. A friend of mine, Matt, actually had read the book, so he was extremely excited to see this movie. From his perspective, is like, oh, this movie was well done. Usually when adaptations of books to movies, obviously a lot of things get left out, but he said they did a really good job with this movie, and I really enjoyed this movie. Definitely go see it. Last but not least on this list is The Iron Claw. I mean, drama, very extremely sad story. This movie is worth a watch. It's a roller coaster of a ride. It'll take you on that emotional roller coaster for sure. I personally didn't know the story of these wrestlers. To learn the story and the tragic story of what happened with this family, the brothers, man, phenomenal story. This movie was just done extremely well. Definitely a must-see movie. Thank you guys for your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.